A very good evening. You're watching Primetime News on TV1. For the News First team, I'm Yuki Poshia. Let's start off with a look at your headlines for tonight.
President accords national honours to soldiers who sacrificed their lives in the war. Prime Minister assures Parliament that the chairman and a majority of members of the Port City Economic Commission will be Sri Lankan nationals. Government ready to pass bill with amendments. Clergy request to postpone the passage of the Port City Economic Commission bill. Minister of Public Security Sarath Veerasekara says FBI confirmed that the mastermind behind the April 21st attacks is Naufer Maulavi.
The National War Heroes Memorial Ceremony was held under the auspices of the Commander-in-Chief of the Tri-Forces, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. The event was held at the National War Heroes Memorial.
The commanders of three armed forces, Inspector General of Police, civil security officials and Defence Secretary General Kamal Gunaratne attended the event. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa was also present. The event began after the arrival of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa.
සියලු තැන් සම්ප්‍රාප්තිය දැන් සිදු වෙනවා. ශ්‍රී ලංකා ප්‍රජාතාන්ත්‍රික සමාජවාදී ජන රජාධිකරු ජනාධිපති සහ සන්නද්ධ සේවා සේනාධිනායක ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ මැතිතුමාගේ පැමිණීමයි දැන් සිදුවනු ලැබුවේ. නමෝ නමෝ මාතා අප ශ්‍රී ලංකා නමෝ 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 මාතා.
Two Bell 412 helicopters with the Sri Lankan flag paid floral tributes in memory of the brave war heroes who sacrificed their lives in the 30-year war in Sri Lanka. Shortly after, the President and the other dignitaries laid floral tributes at the National War Memorial.
The Jaffna Fort. For his bravery in the battle, now we respectfully invite His Excellency the Prime Minister during this national ceremony.
The Speaker of Parliament and opposition leader Sajith Premadasa also paid floral tribute to the memorial. Admiral of the Fleet Vasantha Karannagoda and Marshal of the Air Roshan Gunathilaka also paid tribute to the memorial.
රුදුරු බෙදුම්වාදී ත්‍රස්තවාදයේ එදා සහ මුලින්ම මේ රටින් මුලිනු පුටා දමන්න
As the opposition, we wholeheartedly present our gratitude to our brave war heroes, the Tri-Forces, IGP and civil security officials for saving our country and protecting the sovereignty and territorial integrity of our country. These war heroes sacrificed their lives to bring lasting peace to the country. Let's continue to implement the 13th Amendment to the Constitution as it is now and listen to the concerns of the communities in the country and understand their insecurities and requests and ensure that the victory that we achieve would be long-lasting. Also, the entire country accepts the leadership of Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca, who led our troops on the ground. There is no debate there. Give our Field Marshal an opportunity to speak a few words. I would like to express my gratitude to the President at the time and current Prime Minister and the Defence Secretary at the time, who is the current President, for their blessings given to the troops that I commanded. I also respectfully would like to recall the service rendered by the Navy, the Air Force, the Police Department and civil security officials. I must remind you that we fulfilled our responsibilities by bringing peace to the entire country and especially to the people in the north and the east. That is exactly why even the Tamil community in the country came forward and voted for me at the 2010 election, even though I was the commander of the army. I wish all communities in the country as well as the entire nation prosperity in the future. Meanwhile, the bishops of Church of Ceylon, issuing a release on the 12th anniversary of the conclusion of the Civil War, says every citizen must rid our country of hatred, discrimination and prejudice, and to work with commitment and resolution to promote peace, justice and reconciliation. The release issued by Right Reverend Kirti Siri Fernando and Right Reverend Dushanta Rodrigo further reads, and I quote, "Let the final days of the war be a grim reminder to all Sri Lankans that we have an obligation to uphold ideals of freedom, equality and justice for all our brothers and sisters, and that violence in any form is not the answer to seek redress for our problems." End quote.
Another 3,051 COVID-19 cases were reported today, the highest number of cases reported in a single day in Sri Lanka to this date.
A rise in the number of deaths due to COVID-19.
With more than 34 deaths reported, the total number of fatalities due to COVID-19 in the country exceeded 1,000 last night. As of now, 1,015 deaths due to COVID-19 have been reported in the island.
Is COVID pneumonia a leading cause of death unavoidable?
There are treatment methods for that. Not everyone who contracts pneumonia dies. The issue is that the number of pneumonia infected is high compared to the number of COVID-19 infections. Even though treatments are given, they arrive late to receive them. That is another reason for the number of deaths to rise.
Is the country at risk?
At this moment, there is a chance of the situation worsening in Sri Lanka. We all must take the necessary precautions to mitigate this situation. If we don't take precautions, we might face a more serious situation in 3 weeks or a month.
What will happen to pregnant mothers?
So far, along with the third wave, 5 pregnant mothers have passed away due to COVID-19. The situation this week was discussed at the advisory committee. The committee members agreed to view that pregnant mothers as a sensitive group. The technical committee agreed to administer the vaccine to pregnant mothers. A minor committee is appointed to formulate these measures.
තාක්ෂණික මණ්ඩලය තීරණය කරා කටයුතු සම්පාදනය කරන්න කුඩා කමිටුවක් පත් කරමින් යනවා.
44,000 COVID-19 patients were reported from the 15th of April to the 17th of April. We have conducted 25,000 PCR tests and 2,300 positive cases have been reported. But we believe there may be twice or thrice as many cases in the society at the moment. We are currently carrying out the vaccination drive. However, when 600,000 vials of the Sinopharm vaccine is over, we might have to halt the inoculation process temporarily.
We saw the manner in which doctors said that a large number of people would contract the virus in the future and a large number of people will succumb to the virus. They alleged that this tragedy is happening due to the negligence of the Ministry of Health. Are there any lapses within the Ministry of Health, even when there are 2 ministers at the ministry?
Is COVID-19 spreading at a community stage at present?
There are not enough factors to prove that there is a community spread at the moment. We are unable to find a contact or a source at the moment. I would like to challenge him. If I name 5 patients, he has to tell me as to how they contracted the virus. This is a joke. If you look at the Sri Lankan map, there are COVID-19 patients everywhere. If the authorities are making such plans in a manner where the entire world is laughing at us, we can imagine the dire results of this plan as well.
මේ හැම එකකටම සම්බන්ධයකින් තොරව.
The cases that are being reported nowadays are not linked. Therefore, it is spreading at the community level. At the moment, we are receiving reports of patients from the community with no trace of the origin of the infection. That is community spread.
තැන හොයාගන්න බැරුව. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒක සමාජගත වීම.
The Civil Aviation Authority has taken steps to suspend all flights arriving in the island from midnight on the 21st of this month till midnight on the 31st of this month. According to the chairman of the Civil Aviation Authority, Upul Dharmadasa, this decision has been taken considering the prevailing COVID-19 situation in the country. Who was the group that arrived in an Indian airline?
A group of employees of the Indian High Commission had arrived. Apart from them, 20 Sri Lankans who had gone abroad for various medical procedures had arrived through the flight after obtaining special permission from the Ministry of Health, Ministry of External Affairs and the Civil Aviation Authority. Moreover, a group of employees of the affiliated staff of the Indian High Commission also arrived in the island. A fundamental rights petition was filed with the Supreme Court today against Minister Basil Rajapaksa and Udanga Weeratunga, alleging their involvement in spreading the COVID-19 virus in the country. The petition claimed several incidents, including the bringing down of Ukrainian tourists to the country, caused the virus to spread extensively in the country. The petition was filed by the chief incumbent of the Narayanpita Dharmayatanaya Viharaya Venerable Ulapane Sumangalathero and the former secretary of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry appointed to probe large-scale fraud and corruption, Lasil De Silva. We suspect that the current situation of the country was created when taking into account certain discrepancies taking place in recent times. We see that state institutions have been taken over by certain individuals and they are acting in violation of the constitution, not abiding by the given laws. The main issue of our country is the economy has crashed due to these acts.
Is humanity expendable in the face of COVID-19? We bring you this unfortunate story with the hopes that we don't come across such unpleasant situations in the future.
This is the Wellampitia Junction. This couple, aged 65 or 70 years, probably never expected to find themselves in a situation such as this. The residents said, according to this couple, they were brought here in a vehicle from Padukka and dropped off to fend for themselves.
I know the majority of you love your parents, but never leave them helpless like this. Protect them in times like this.
The compassionate residents of the area had taken steps to help the elders by providing them food and taking care of them. However, in the end, this couple was admitted to the hospital since they showed symptoms of COVID-19.
It was revealed through a PCR done today that they both are COVID-19 patients. Therefore, we took steps to admit them to the IDH hospital.
In the end, the people who took pity and helped this couple had to quarantine themselves as well.
Gammadda donated an advanced ICU ventilator system to the Gampaha District Hospital, supporting the national effort to combat COVID-19 today.
Over the weekend, Sri Lanka's State Minister of Primary Healthcare, Epidemics and COVID-19 Disease Control, Dr. Sudarshini Fernandopulle, called on the private sector to support the efforts to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in the island nation and to provide treatment to those infected. Gammadda, active in all 25 districts in Sri Lanka, responded to this appeal and within 3 days was able to donate the Swedish-made advanced ICU ventilator system to the Gampaha District Hospital.
This is the first donation I think we are getting. There are so many others who have volunteered, but Gammadda has donated the first equipment, the life-saving equipment.
This donation was accepted by the director of the Gampaha District Hospital, Dr. Priyantaile Perumal.
We made a request from donors to go to the nearest hospital and make a donation. We would like to extend our sincere thanks to Gammadda for donating an essential ventilator for the Gampa District Hospital.
How will this advanced ICU ventilator system be used to provide treatment for COVID-19 patients?
Patients who are experiencing critical lung failure will be treated using this ventilator. This ventilator will provide artificial oxygen to the patient. This ventilator, which pumps artificial oxygen to the patient, was donated to the Gampa District Hospital by Gammadda today.
Gammadda, a totally people-powered movement, plans to continue supporting dedicated medical professionals across the country by providing world-class life-saving equipment.
With that, we toss over to a short commercial break. Do stay with News First. We will be right back. Welcome back to the news. His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit, Archbishop of Colombo, and Venerable L.A. Gunavanshathera called on the government to postpone this vote on the Port City Economic Commission bill. This was highlighted at a media briefing held today.
25 clauses have been amended. How are they going to incorporate this into the bill in a hurry? What are the amendments that they are going to make? Are they going to amend this after it's passed in Parliament? We have many issues like that. Dual citizens should not be appointed to this. What sort of benefits will the people get? Analyze these. This is our country. You have been given the responsibility of governing the country for 5 years. We, the people of this country, are the owners of this country. We would like to request the government not to make this decision under the current circumstances. If this is tuned into an issue, we will have to reveal the facts to the people and rally them against this. The COVID-19 pandemic has brought many issues to our lives. I would like to question the government as to why there is a massive hurry to pass this act when people are grappling with a plethora of other issues brought by the pandemic. We have concerns over the transparency of this matter. The people of this country must be consulted before an asset of the country is handed over to someone else. The Supreme Court determination was read in Parliament yesterday. How can they hold a vote on that bill hurriedly today? Speaking on behalf of the people, I would like to request the government to postpone this debate. Why is this done in secret? To date, we cannot find the Hambantota port deal. We have similar suspicions regarding this bill as well. I saw boards put up there where the first line of words were in English, the second were in Sinhala, and the third line of words was written in Chinese. So a Chinese colony is being created in the country. Our country is Sri Lanka. There are many geopolitical issues in the country right now. On the one hand, it's China, then India and the US. So we would like to clearly request this government to hand over the country to us the same way it was handed over to them. That is all.
The government presented the Port City Economic Commission bill for debate in Parliament today. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa began the debate and the Samagi Jana Balawegaya proposed 8 amendments to the bill.
Port City Nagare Padram Kotagena, Ilanga Audu Pahatuladi.
We are working to attract about $15 billion to the country during the next 5 years through the port city. We are establishing the legal framework to facilitate the ease of business there. We hope to incorporate the amendments proposed by the Supreme Court during the second reading of the bill. We hope to establish through the bill itself that a majority of the members of the Commission should be Sri Lankan. Also, we hope to include in the Act provisions that mandate the chairman of the Commission too should be a Sri Lankan. Also, we hope to bring in a regulation that requires for 75% of the employment opportunities generated at the port city to be reserved for Sri Lankans. I invite all MPs in Parliament not levies and start a business in Kurunagala. So when that happens, how can the local businessmen in Kurunagala compete with them? The Supreme Court said that this is obnoxious. Finally, the drafting of community rules was handed over to that commission. The Supreme Court cut down that provision completely. If this is a part of the country, who included a clause in the bill that required a citizen to get permission from the commission to visit the port city? Finally, Honorable Prime Minister, people of this country must have an opportunity to invest here. Do not stop that. Also, we are of the opinion that a police unit should be established here. If you decide to agree with all these, we will support you.
අපි අපේ සහයෝගය ඒ ආකාරයෙන් දෙන්න අපිට හැකියාවක් තියෙනවා බලයි සියලු දේට එකඟ වෙනවා නම්.
The demonstration, which was organized by the Janata Vimukti Peramuna, was held at the Parliament roundabout. We request the members of Parliament not to let this bill be passed in Parliament. Let the people of this country discuss this. Take time instead of going for a vote. Since it was scheduled for these 2 days, we would like to say to the government, let's debate. Instead of passing this, give a chance for the people of this country to criticize or express their views regarding this. Meanwhile, banners were on display in Baddegama opposing the Port City Economic Commission bill. The banners on display included the pictures of MPs and ministers of the Galle district, and it read, "Do not sell the port city and come back to the village."
අපිට ඉතිහාසය තුළ 20 වස්ථා සංශෝධනය 19 මේවා සියල්ලක්ම
Looking back at our history, we can see that politicians had always acted in favor of themselves when it came to amendments like the 20th and the 19th. Then they neglected the Supreme Court guidance even though they acted as if they adhered to them. It is clear that the government will definitely fulfill its intentions by holding a debate within these 2 days without considering the recommendations given by the Supreme Court. What should be done is suspending the debate, resubmitting the bill with all amendments to the Supreme Court and passing that bill in Parliament for debate and passage. Now the government is illegally attempting to fulfill its intentions by neglecting the Supreme Court determination and the law. This bill is a stepping stone to the process of creating a Gaza Strip in our country.
මේ රට තුළ නිර්මාණය කිරීමේ පළමුවෙනි පියවර තමයි මේ පනතත් එක්ක නිර්මාණය වෙන්නේ.
Views were expressed regarding the April 21st attacks in Parliament today as well.
ජනාධිපති කොමිෂන් වාර්තාව නීතිපතිවරයාට මේ වසරේ පෙබරවාරි මාස.
The report of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry was handed over to the Attorney General in February this year. Following that, from the 12th of March 2021 to the 24th of April, a police investigation team of 54 officers along with a team from the Aegis Department investigated the evidence and the facts thoroughly. This was overseen by the present Attorney General. During the investigations, some discrepancies arose. A report on the new findings was handed over to the police on the 24th of April. In order to remind the police of the report, the Attorney General resubmitted the report to the IGP on the 12th of May. By that time, the police had already completed most of the investigations and handed over the facts to the Aegis Department. They hope to send the remaining findings to the Aegis Department soon. When all the investigations are completed, the Attorney General can file cases against the accused. 704 people have been arrested in this regard. 203 suspects are in remand custody, while 84 are on detention orders. 244 suspects are on bail, and 168 are released. Indictments have been filed against 32 suspects. We appreciate the assistance and the professional commitment by the Attorney General in this regard. According to our investigations and American investigations, it is clear that the mastermind of this is Naufar Maulavi. It was also confirmed by Zaharan's wife, Sadia. The FBI has also confirmed Naufar played the main role in this attack.
FBI එකනුත් සනාථවට තිබෙනවා. එතකොට මේ නීතිපතිවරයා කියනවා මෙතන conspiracy.
The AG says there's a conspiracy here. We expect an answer from Minister Ali Sabri regarding this conspiracy.
දෙන්න පුළුවන් නීතිපතිවරයා කියන්නේ මේ මොකද්ද මේ කුමන්ත්‍රණය කියන එක පිළිබඳව. විශේෂයෙන්ම
There are facts regarding the involvement of the Israeli intelligence units in this. These matters were revealed at the Presidential Commission as well.
වාර්තාවෙනුත් තියෙනවා. ISIS සංවිධානය සමග දුරකථන සම්බන්ධතාවයක් ගොඩනගා
We stated how matters were revealed that Podi Zaharan had made connections with ISIS over the phone to take responsibility for the attacks. There was some involvement of the intelligence officers in that instance. Going back from there, taking into consideration the facts that were revealed by Dapula de Oliveira and the Cardinal, and look into who manipulated this group to carry out this attack. All these people who spoke were members of the Yahapalana Yudhakarathne government. When the SIS said that Zaharan should be arrested in 2018, they did not do that. If that was done, none of this would have happened. All these people, therefore, are responsible for this attack.
We were the ones who obtained an open warrant against Zaharan. When they came into power, they stopped it. People who were arrested were handed over to them. You are misleading this. You are the conspirators.
රාජ්‍ය බුද්ධ්‍යංශයෙන් 2018 දී සහරාන්ව අත්අඩංගුවට ගන්න කියලා ඉතා පැහැදිලි නියෝගයක් ලබා තිබියදී අත්අඩංගුවට ගත්තේ නැහැ. ගත්තනම් මේ දේ සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ නැහැ.
Why did Basil Rajapaksa, who is chairing 3 presidential task forces, including the Task Force on Economic Revival and Poverty Eradication, leave the country? Several views regarding this were expressed by many factions in the government.
He has gone abroad in order to do something about the present situation in the country. If the means were revealed now, the attempt would be futile. So we will not reveal them.
What did the government faction state earlier?
If something happens to me, wouldn't I go to hospital? Will I forego my work? No, I would not. So just because he left, there is no impediment to the work that he did. Our state ministers are doing that job even better now, so do not be afraid.
He flew overseas for personal reasons. That is not something unusual. He hopes to return to Sri Lanka in 3 weeks. He didn't have any medical condition to seek treatment for. Even when I met him yesterday, he didn't have any illness. He left the island for a personal reason. Everyone has personal matters in their lives. We should not meddle with those matters.
His son became a father. He too has a liking to see his grandchildren. As people, we must give an opportunity to him to attend these matters. He did not travel there in a long time. We must allow him to engage in his personal matters.
කාලයකට පස්සේ ගියේ නෑ. ඉතින් එතුමා මම හිතනවා මේ පෞද්ගලික වශයෙන් එතුමාට තියෙන මේ පෞද්ගලික අවශ්‍යතාවන ඉඩ දෙන්න එපයි.
He too will have to dedicate some time for matters such as seeking medical treatment. That does not mean that he is completely detaching himself from other matters. He went abroad due to a private matter. He informed the party and us before he left.
Taking a look at some news overseas, Israel continued to bomb the Gaza Strip today, hitting residential buildings in central Gaza City and killing at least 3 Palestinians. We end tonight's bulletin with several views expressed by civil activist Asela Sampath through social media. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Yuki Portia, along with our sign language interpreter Brian De Cruz via Zoom. Take care and good night.
The epilogue.
They spoke as if they would turn the country into a paradise. What is the point of this government if they can't divide vegetables of farmers among the 14,000 Gram Seva divisions?
Go home.
Leave and give the job to someone who can do it. Your words mean nothing if farmers cannot sell their produce, which they grow amidst many difficulties at economic centres. You have the capability of supplying the food for police officers and for those who are in quarantine facilities by buying their produce. They watch as these vegetables rot when they are capable of increasing the vegetable consumption of those who are in quarantine centres.